Now let's go to context question on now 2024 context question on short story. Question number 3. Comment briefly. Now tell me, for context question, how many words do you want to write nearly?
About 150 or 200 words.
Yes, there is no actual direction called to write that limit. But anyway, that is also essay question, right? Did you ask to divide passages? So how? I mean, right. Were you guided to write a single passage, Joe? Two or like that? How were you guided?
4 passages. Divide 4 passages.
Right. This is also essay type question. That's what we have to understand. Comment briefly on the following passage, explaining its significance to the short story from which it is taken. Right? Now, question number 3. 2024 question number 3. Comment briefly on the following passage, explaining its significance to the short story from which is taken. He stood behind his desk in the far end of the dim room. The wife liked him. She liked the deadly serious way he received any complaints. She liked his dignity. She liked the way he wanted to serve her. She liked the way he felt about being a hotel keeper. She liked his all heavy face and big hands. So, from which short story this was taken?
Cat in the Rain by Ernest Hemingway.
Cat in the Rain. Right. Ernest Hemingway wrote this story. Ernest Hemingway wrote many stories. Old Man and the Sea, Old Man at the Bridge, The Sun Also Rises, right? So, he writes about the stories about European youth generation and their behavior. Right? After the World War, in America, they formed a new culture called hippie culture. Hippie culture means they traveled around the world, drinking and spending scandalous lives. Right? They had the mental failure. What was the reason? Experience in the war damages. Bulk of men died. Civilians died. Right? Therefore, they were victims of emotional damage. Here, the husband is also a victim of an emotional damage. So he doesn't know how to be affectionate to his wife and how to provide her with her needs, protection, love, affection. Yes. So he's an American. He has come to Italy. They are staying in a hotel facing a war monument. In front of hotel also there's a war monument. People visit that. War monuments also recollects the sad memories of war, massacres of war. That is what here affects this family life. Start like this. this uh, particular this particular now this Saturday 8:30 to 3 p.m. language papers only. Yeah? This particular extract has been adapted from the short story Cat in the Rain, written by Ernest Hemingway, which is a modern short story that describes the describes the uh, consequences of the First World War that damaged human emotions. Yes. Mm. Ernest Hemingway, in his short stories, describes the human life during war and after war. Yes. The American couple accommodating in a hotel in Italy, right, is also a victim of that war damages as Americans experience that brutally. Yes. The hotel that they are staying is facing a war monument which ever and anon recollects the massacres of the battlefield. Yes. Here the narrator describes the Italian hotel owner, the old person providing his enthusiastic service to his clients, and how the American wife liked him when he offered her dignity to her best, to his best. Yes. New para. George, the American husband, is insensitive, uncommunicative, and silent, so that this young wife is isolated in an unknown country without having anyone to share her ups and downs. Yes. Therefore, it is her husband who should satisfy her with the meaningful and affectionate communication, but George here is reserved and remains himself in reading a book irrespective of becoming close to his wife to erase away her loneliness and laziness. Yes. Having noticed the emotions of this young American wife, this old man becomes mutual and flexible towards the young wife's desires. Yes. That is why the deadly serious way he received any complaints and she likes his dignity. Yes. The writer is critical as well as satirical towards the cold behavior of George as a young husband who is not ready to fulfill his young wife's desires. Yes. Full stop. This old man, the host, accepts her complaints seriously, but George is insensitive to her words. Yes. When she tells that she wants to bring the cat in the rain her husband does not pay enough attention to her words. Her words. Yes. Cat is a symbol of fickleness and this young wife also symbolizes the same cat covering herself in the rain. In the rain. Yes. As we read, she likes the way this old man wanted to serve her, and that is significant to understand the mentality of her own husband, who is not to who is not ready to serve his young wife. Yes, Newfera. This point describes a complexity in marriage with the young husband ignoring his young wife and a third party becoming ready to serve her. Yes, that is why she liked his old heavy face and big hands. Yes. Nevertheless, this husband George he is not ready to offer the equal dignity to his wife as his life counterpart who came with him, keeping fullest trust on himself. Yes. Absence of love and affection and her desires are expressed through her words of resentment that she tells about her hairstyle and desires for new dresses and jewelry. Yes. Yes. Therefore, George does not know. Don't write don't know, doesn't know, right? They are the points for deduction of mark. Does not know how to please his wife, but the old man shows that, old man's behavior shows that she does not want expensive manners of uh, providing her with love and affection, but with simple things like scrupulous listening, attention, sensitive caring, and emotional attachment. Yes. What this old man does is just serving her, and accepting her complaints seriously, but such a behavior is unknown to George. This subtle, subtle, subtle and sensitive behavior of this old man shows a very important example for marriage life, that any wife needs love, affection, attention, and caring from her husband, which is not financially expensive. Yes. This old man's look, few words, and few words, attention and dignity could win the young wife. Kavishma, did you write from the beginning?
Yes, sir.
Can you read?
Yes, sir, I can.
Yes, please.
This particular extract has been adapted from the short story Cat in the Rain, written by Ernest Hemingway, which is a modern short story that describes the consequences of the First World War that damaged their human emotions. Ernest Hemingway, in his short stories, described the human life during war and after war. The American couple accommodating in hotel in Italy is also a victims of that war damages as Americans experience that brutally. The hotel that they are staying is facing a war monument which ever and anon recollects massacres of the battlefield. Here, the narrator describes the Italian hotel owner, the old person providing his enthusiastic service to his clients, and how the American wife liked him when he offered her dignity to his best. George, the American husband, is insensitive, uncommunicative, and silent, so that this young wife is isolated in an unknown country without having anyone to share her ups and downs. Therefore, it is her husband who should satisfy with her meaningful and affectionate communication. But George here is received and remains himself in reading her book, irrespective of becoming close to his wife to erase away her loneliness and laziness. Having noticed the emotions of this young American wife, this old man becomes mutual and flexible towards the young wife's desire. That is why her deadly serious way he received any complaints and she likes his dignity. The writer is critical as well as satirical towards the cold behavior of George as a young husband who is not ready to fulfill his young wife's desire. This old man often accepts her complaints seriously, but George is insensitive to her words. When she tells that she wants to bring the cat in the rain, her husband does not pay enough attention to her words. Cat is a symbol of fickleness, and this young wife also symbolizes the same cat covering herself in the rain. As we read, she likes the way this old man wanted serve her, and that is significant to understand the mentality of her own husband who is not ready to serve his young wife. This point describes a complexity in marriage with the young husband ignoring his young wife and her third party becoming ready to serve her. That is why she liked his old heavy face and big hands. Nevertheless, this husband George is not ready to offer the equal dignity to his wife as his like counterpart who came with him, keeping false trust on himself. Absence of love and affection and her desires are expressed through her words of resentment that she tells about her hairstyle and her desires for new dresses and jewelry. Therefore, George does not know how to please his wife, but the old man's behavior, she does not want expensive manners of providing her love and affection, but with simple things like scrupulous listening, attention, sensitive, caring, and emotional attachment. What this old man does is just surviving her and accepting her complaints seriously, but such a behavior is unknown to George. The subtle and sensitive behavior of this old man shows a very important example for marriage life that any wife needs love, affection, attention, and caring from her husband, which is not financially expensive. This old man looks few words, attention, and dignity put in the young wife.
Right, in a new para writing, Ernest Hemingway, Ernest Hemingway, in writing his short story Cat in the Rain, Cat in the Rain, deals with an internal uh, complexity in marriage life through this young couple. Young couple, yes. This particular part that describes the emotional behavior of this old hotel owner provides a significant information related to the marriage life and its success and failure. Yes. According to this point, behavior of a person with fullest attention and affection can win a female mind which resembles a cat. A cat. Yes. George, however, does not understand that an lives with his own male chauvinism. Male chauvinism. Chauvinism. Male chauvinism. Chauvinism. Without giving sufficient attention and affection to his young wife. Yes. Their purpose of coming to Italian hotel is not mentioned, but the husband has the fullest obligation to be closer to his wife and allocate time to listen to herself in a subtle manner. Yes. This part proves that proves that in a marriage that behavior is essential and if a husband fails in behaving thus, the marriage also fails. Marriage also fails. Right. Enough. How many words can there be for this? Now, step by step, you have to, first you can write 200, later develop. These several days when you write with me, you can manage the exam, don't worry. Right?